Are new to financial services, or maybe you've been around a while and you just want a fresh perspective, this video is for you. I'm going to cover 5 different things you need to know if you're new in the industry. I am more than happy to help you guys, and that's why I put out this content. In fact, we've had a number of people join our program over the last few days that are brand new to the industry. They never started out, or they haven't started yet. And to be quite honest, they're very lucky to have found our program in the beginning because I developed this program over years and years of experience and through the frustrations of not being able to find good programs and good mentors to learn from. So you're in the right spot. Stick around for a couple of minutes here. I'm going to make this a short video. It's sort of cliche and it's sort of tacky almost because it's become overused and overplayed to talk about mindset. And this mindset thing of like, oh, you got to have this mindset. It's almost, it's almost like fake to the point where it's just like beating a dead horse. But the first thing that you absolutely have to do is create the environment and the mindset that you're going to be successful. And you have to do the steps that it takes to become successful. If you're just starting out in the industry, you may not know this, but the time that it takes to make the money, the actual time, is very short. You can meet with a person on a first appointment. Maybe you do a second appointment. You've got a total of 2 or 3 hours wrapped up in it, and you're making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. There aren't many professions I know that you can make $5,000, $10,000 an hour. So it's not that part that takes long. It's the activities that add up to and the decisions that you make daily that will add up to you being able to sign somebody up and help them out with their retirement or their finances or their insurance and then get paid on it. Okay. So if you could just stack up your day with people that wanted to meet with you, you could make $100,000 a week. You could make $200,000 a week. And in fact, there's a lot of advisors, that the top advisors, these guys are doing 30, 40, 50, even 70, 80, 90 million in production, not in commissions, in production every single year. But they do that because they know the right steps. All right. Financial services, life insurance, it's like a recipe. The same way you would bake a cake, you add certain things in certain quantities at certain times, you stick it in the oven for 15, 20 minutes, you pull it out and it's a cake. If I just took all of the ingredients and I threw them in the bowl, didn't measure them, any sequence, mixed it up, stuck it in the oven, it would not come out as a cake. And now that's an oversimplification of how financial services works. But all of the stuff that you do from day one will be off if you don't have the correct mindset. Now, what do I actually mean by that? What does mindset mean? Because again, that term gets thrown around quite a bit. Mindset is, to me, your frame of mind and how you frame your day and what actions and steps you're going to do throughout that day. So if you wake up and you go, man, I really feel lazy. I'm not going to do that much today. I'm not going to make the calls. I'm not going to schedule the call with a marketing company. I'm not going to do this, XYZ. That is your mindset. Your mindset controls your actions, your thoughts. You've heard these like other cliche sayings too about, you become what you think in things like that. But listen, your mindset is very, very important. And you have to set out to achieve a particular goal. It's not to be more successful because that's subjective. It could be measured any different way. You can't achieve necessarily be more successful. I can't say to you, be more successful, and then you go, hey, look, I'm successful. That would include some actions. So maybe you set some targets and some goals to help drive your mindset. Maybe you go, I want to close 10 people by the end of the month or the end of the quarter. And if that seems too overwhelming for you, cut it down into a smaller unit of action. So maybe instead of closing 10 people, you can meet with 10 people. And if that seems like too much, cut it back. If you can't meet with 10 people, maybe you make 10 calls. However you want to set it up, you have to set those goals that frame your mindset that will drive the activities that you do. If you're taking a road trip, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse now, but if you're taking a road trip and you go to, from Columbus to St. Louis, you have a goal, and the goal is to arrive in St. Louis by XYZ time. The route that you take to get to St. Louis is those steps that you take to achieve that goal, which is arriving by a certain time. You wouldn't set a goal to arrive at St. Louis, not pack your car, not go get gas, not grab a map or punch it into your phone, and then expect to arrive at St. Louis. It sounds crazy when I give that example, but I've coached hundreds of advisors, I've coached hundreds of agents, and one for one, almost everybody I meet with, because they're seeking help, they haven't set their goals, haven't set their mindset, haven't got the right frame of mind. And so they're not going to get there. You don't arrive at the destination unless you're tunnel vision on that. Your ability to do that will determine directly how successful you are. The second thing is you have to have effective marketing strategies. You have to have effective marketing strategies. This is not something you're going to be able to figure out overnight. This is not something that you're going to be able to necessarily solve right away. We've got an amazing, I think the best in the industry, lead generation and appointment setting program. Is absolutely top notch. I haven't personally met anyone or any company that can do it better than we can at scale. But you want to diversify. You want to have other lead sources and you want to have other appointment sources. You should always be spending 10% of everything that you make on a test or a trial. The whole point of marketing is to put opportunities on your calendar. And I've got separate videos on that. There's a lot to talk about. I could go on for an hour about that, but you have to find effective marketing. If you want to do that, look around on the channel. There's a couple of other videos about that. The third thing you want to do, now, this is not so much a problem with the new advisors. The 20, 22, 24, 26-year-old advisors are very, very good at using technology. The older advisors, it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They don't want to use phone recording software, automations, technology, email, Google Calendar. Leverage technology to your advantage, and you got to pay to play. I don't care if it's $50 a month, $100 a month, $19 a month. There is a whole host of technology products that can make your life easier, whether it's routing appointments, scheduling appointments, sending reminders, doing automations, recording calls. There's a whole suite of artificial intelligence tools. There's software to prepare your presentations and your design. You can even get a team or an IMO to do that. Do not be afraid of technology. Embrace technology. I'll tell you a quick story here. When COVID happened, 2020, I was right about the time I developed the initial appointment program that became the appointment setter. And I was selling virtual appointments. These were phone appointments. And just before COVID happened, I actually had people tell me, reputable names, respectable people that have been in the industry for 20 years, that we would never do remote appointments, and that I was wasting my time developing a remote appointment system because you have to be in person for financial services, right? And that was sort of the mantra. A lot of the old school guys, they want to meet face to face, but it's just not practical, and it's also not as scalable as some of the other strategies. So I had finished the first iteration of the remote appointment program, and I was creating remote appointments. And 2 weeks later, COVID happened and it shut everything down. So I just had some right place at the right time, really good timing type of situation that happened there. And suddenly everything was shut down. We couldn't meet with people face to face. There were a lot of people that were struggling at that time, but we really flourished and prospered during that time because we know how to set remote appointments. Over the next 2 years, it became, a lot of the advisors adapted that. And a lot of the advisors said, no, I'm going to wait till it comes back to in person. I'm going to do the seminars. I'm going to do in person because I'm a face-to-face type of guy. They refused to adapt. They accepted the blockbuster fate, and a lot of them suffered. And some of them are even out of business. But as we learned over the next 2, 3, 4 years, we surveyed all of the people that met with the advisors on our program. And what we found was that 90% of the prospects that we scheduled appointments with, over 100,000 appointments at that time, 90% of them wanted to meet over the phone initially. And the rest was split. The 5% and 5% was split between in-person and Zoom or something like that. So it's a very important thing to be able to embrace the technology and use the technology. Don't be the blockbuster. Don't be the guy that refuses to, there's people that used to refuse to use credit cards because they were afraid it wasn't secure. Obviously, there's some truth to that. Embrace the technology, pay for the technology, learn the technology, use it, and leverage it. That's the 7-Figure Advisor suite is a lethal tool that you can use to improve and gain back your time, make more money, scale, expand, flourish, prosper. That's what we want everybody to do. The fourth thing, I kind of blended those two together, the marketing strategies and leveraging your time. You have to know what the hell you're talking about. So you're like, day one, great, I'm new to financial services. What are you going to help the people with? Well, if you're not able to provide value, then you're not going to be able to have a conversation. And if you can't have a conversation, you're not going to be able to get paid. So you really have to pay your tuition, pay your dues, put in some time, and learn about helping people with their insurance or with their finances, helping them retire effectively. The best way to do that is to do what I did, which is to get a mentor. Get somebody that's 10 steps ahead of you, work out a deal to work with them, split some commissions. Their time is money. You've heard that expression before too. And it really is true. I mean, in 6 months to a year, I gained 20 years of experience from my mentor. I was ahead of the game at that point in time. I'd still be lost in the sauce if it wasn't for him. You have to find a mentor in somebody that you trust so you can learn how to become valuable. You can learn about the products and services that you're offering. And the one thing I will recommend if you're just starting out, do not, if you're involved with one of those agencies that tells you to pitch your family and friends or to give you a list of your family and friends, don't freaking do that. Listen, it's cheesy, it's disingenuous, it's insincere, and it creates a very weird flow between you and your friends and family because your friends and family inherently want to support you, but they don't want your shit, right? Especially when you're brand new and you're no good at it. So don't offer it to them. Wipe that. I refuse to do that. It seemed weird. I started to do it a little at first, and then I refused to do that. And I learned how to become very, very valuable with that retirement and financial conversation. And what do you know? In a period of a couple of years, those people were reaching out to me for advice. Okay. So do not sacrifice your personal integrity to make some money because the person that you're working with is telling you to reach out to your friends and family. Do what you think is right. And if it doesn't seem right, you don't want to do it, then don't. And I don't recommend doing that anyways. So that's a whole mouthful, a little bit of a rant. The last thing here is very, very important too. This is something that I continue to do. I spend lots and lots of money and time on continuous personal improvement. Now, what a lot of people do is they learn the industry and they get good enough to make however it is much money they want to make, and then they stop learning and they stop improving and they stop sharpening their saw. Okay. The same way that 10% of your money should go to those marketing programs, pilot programs, lead gen, at a minimum, 10% of your money every single month, shove that 10% into the account for that. Another 10% should go to your personal development. Now, the 10% numbers, those are a little arbitrary that I kind of just made up. You got to kind of make it something. And if you want to adjust that to 20% or 5%, fine. You're also going to have seasons in your career as a financial professional where you spend more or less, whether it be time or money, on marketing and personal development. Sometimes you got to go all in. Listen, guys, making money will help you take the time out of things. All of the people that you're going to work with that have big chunks of money and they talk in big chunks of money, they want to use money to improve their to improve their quality of life or to speed up how long something takes, right? So if you're nitpicking about $1 here, $1 there, oh, that costs this, and you're being really significant, when you're a buyer, you kind of, I think Grant Cardone is the one that says that you kind of do, you buy how you sell, right? So if you're having trouble closing deals, it's just something you have to work on. If you're afraid to spend money, you're not going to be able to take money from other people or earn commissions. It's just I don't know, it's a weird law of the universe. So you have to continually personally develop. You have to spend a significant amount of money on it. Even today, like I could retire if I wanted to, and I spend thousands of dollars every single year on personal development, meeting with people, getting in the right groups, talking with people, and becoming better. And that is really what the 7-figure advisor is, because I didn't have a cohesive group or technology and a method to help me. So that's what the 7-figure advisor program is about. If you want to check it out, it's the number 7-fa.com, foxtrotalpha.com. We have a bunch of advisors on the program already. We're going to cap this offer off at 100 users. We're already halfway there. If any of that stuff in the video that I said made sense and it resonates with you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Check out the 7-Figure Advisor. Listen, you don't have to sign up to get value. I post videos like this on a regular basis. Hopefully that was helpful, guys, and I will see you. I'm doing a whole marketing series, so look for the next video on the end screen, and I'll see you later.